You are listening to the Sitrep podcast, your source for everything related to historical wargaming. Whether you are looking for the latest wargaming news, reviews, painting tutorials, or playthroughs, you will hear about it right here. So grab your favorite beverage or brush and let's hit it.
All right, we're back. It's been 2 weeks. It's been a fast 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And we are ready to rock and roll and come up with some crazy content today. So, as I said in the intro, our theme for today is what is fun in historical / modern wargaming. The reason I brought up this title or topic is I had somebody reach out to me in a comment says, "What's so fun about historicals?" And I almost had to slap them, right? So, anyway.
I mean, was that somebody that was shilling for, like sci-fi or high fantasy or whatever is way better?
Because they are a hardcore 40K player, and they don't like, real world stuff and
gotcha,
that kind of thing. They want to play the fantasy and if I want to have a jetpack and fly around, all that stuff we've heard before.
There's a place for that.
Of course there is. So,
however, not in historical.
Right. And, again, it goes back to the old adage that we've talked about 1 billion times is it's just a whole bunch of old dudes sitting around a table pushing tanks and army guys around. That to everybody's opinion, that's what historical is. Which is funny because if you look at our demographics on our analytics, most of our audience is between 40 and 55.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, not that there's not some truth to that, but okay.
So,
okay, isn't Warhammer the same thing? Your little Lehman Marcus or whatever the hell they call their tanks, and dudes that fly and cast spells and do. It's all just gaming, bro. Pick your flavor.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you have to do what it is we do,
right?
So your topic kind of inspired me a little bit, and I say it because of this. So we talk about historical, right? How come modern isn't historical? And I say that because if you go and you talk to anybody or look, whoa, is that me?
Nope.
Oh, okay. You go and you look at anybody that, plays historicals, or you start talking to the folks at conventions, whatnot. And you're like, oh, historical working, great. Are you going to have this, that, or the other thing that's modern? And the answer 90% of the time is, oh, no. I'm like, well, so modern is its own thing?
I think it depends on how you define modern, right, Jim?
Mm-hmm.
We define modern here on the podcast as anything post 1945. Some people consider modern as ultra modern. It hasn't happened yet, right?
Yeah,
and they're wrong because that's not what modern warfare is about.
Right. I
mean, drive on.
Because I thought about it when Bill was running down the topic, and I'm like, I just had this conversation in my head the other day because I don't actually talk to people about it other than you guys. but I'm like, what? Why is it that you say are you going to do any modern gaming there? And they're like, oh no, we don't do that,
right?
Well, but that's why I like doing.
Well, first of all, I think if you're going to have a conversation like that, you have to define with the person what modern warfare is, because way too many people think that modern war is about technology. It ain't, for the love of God. I mean, was a lot of the war in Afghanistan high tech? I mean, those guys weren't exactly, high tech. The entire wars have been fought in the last 20 years in Africa with little more than, machetes and 50-year-old AKs.
Yep. So
modern war has something to do with technology. Here on the SitRep podcast, we define, and it's our definition. By no means does it have to be everybody's. But we define modern warfare as 1945 forwards, or I should say after 1945,
right? Because
of the one defining trait of warfare since that time, these last 3 weeks notwithstanding, and even that is true. Modern war has to be limited.
Yeah.
The whole Clausewitzian concept that dominated warfare from the 1870s to 1945 died under the first mushroom cloud on Hiroshima, or technically Los Alamos. You can't have a total war anymore. everything has to be on much more of a sunsa, hey, war is part of a holistic state sort of strategy that you've got to, use very carefully in order to, attain your goals or prevent your threats or whatever. And it's not just the atomic dimension; it's media. I mean, what the other big thing that was invented after, well, it was technically invented before World War II, but it became prevalent after World War II, was the television. And then after that came the internet. And we're seeing it now in Russia. Even a state that totalitarian, and even a state with that much control and manipulation over the media, they're not able to control the message. Too many people have too many cell phones, too many people have too many TVs, and everything else like that. And people don't put up with this shit. Let's just, hey, you know what? I'm bored. Let me just stand up our whole army and march them blindly into this other country with a stunning lack of organization. I'm totally not talking about any particular conflict in specific here. Not at all. Yeah. But I mean, in all fairness, it happens to us too. I mean, the second we went into Iraq in 2003, people were, why are we there? Wait, what? Weapons of mass destruction? What are you talking about?
Yeah, I was there. It was totally organized. We absolutely all knew our mission. We felt confident in our government that there was a plan.
There was a plan.
We found a weapon of mass destruction. His name was, Saddam.
Well, yeah.
Anyway,
I actually saw weapons of mass destruction. I physically saw them.
I was gonna say I lived next door to a munitions dump in Taji when I was there, my second deployment, and it wasn't like CERN or VX or anything, but there were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of canisters of mustard gas.
Yeah.
Don't think we didn't sweat that one because they didn't look like they were in real good shape. And I'm like, dude, I live 250 yards from that thing.
Right. All right, guys. So, as tradition on the
show. Wait. Hold. I have to ask. So,
no, there was no
think we have
gas to go with it.
No.
I have a rim shot.
Oh.
I do.
Thank you very much.
Very good. No, so I think we have identified one protagonist or antagonist that we've never really looked at, the media. So the media right now is a good thing. They're actually getting the word out. But, from what we had to go through in Iraq and Afghanistan and everything else is, for a long time, the media's the media's been a huge enemy.
Well, it can go either way. It depends on who's manipulating it for what purpose, because that's pretty much how the media gets worked these days, as well as that's how they prefer to operate.
The point we were originally trying to make is that, the media can be, if you're trying to carry out a large-scale military exercise, I mean, invasion of Ukraine, invasion of Iraq, okay, I'm not going to compare apples to oranges, but they were both invasions. If you're trying to invade another country, the media is going to get in your way. I completely agree, but that's what I'm saying. That's part of the reason why modern war is got to be limited.
Right.
Modern warfare has to take that into account. When Nazi Germany was about ready to invade Poland in '39, Hitler didn't stop to ask how it would look on Facebook. He just did it and didn't care about it. Even then, he had this false flag operation where there were, supposedly Polish troops invaded Germany and blah, blah, blah. But why we don't do modern warfare, or why some people don't like modern warfare, I think a lot of time they think it's Tom Clancy, they think it's Rainbow Six, Call of Duty, all this other complete nonsense. How Tom Clancy got to be so famous, I still don't know, but whatever.
Good story.
It's a good read.
It's not a good story. I actually
read.
It's a good read.
I would say also it's easy to read. Right. It's easy to consume.
It's meant for masses.
Yeah.
All right, we'll have to go ahead and we'll have to go ahead and disagree on that, but that's okay.
Yeah.
The point is, I think a lot of times people from to get back on topic, because we keep veering off topic. When people ask, why don't you do historical? Why is historical so boring? Why don't historical players do modern? I think a lot of times it's just a thing of definitions.
Yeah.
I think a lot of them are doing historical. The amount of 40K players out there who are playing on the Eastern Front and just don't know it.
Right.
Because they don't read a book, or they don't read a book besides 40K is kind of staggering.
Yeah.
And I don't even know that much about 40K, but what little I do know, I'm like, oh my God, that's totally the Eastern Front right there. But drive on. That's my new saying. Drive on. We're gonna get some new.
That's
We're
how
gonna
you
get a new mug here, a new glass.
Yeah.
But see that's how we get the transition as they get older. Is somebody cracks a book and makes that connection that, hey, wait a minute.
Let's
actually
be honest.
related to some
World
stuff.
War II is cool, right? I mean, you put tanks on
It's
a
iconic,
battlefield.
yeah.
I mean, everybody's seen a World War II war movie. Whether it's a classic movie from, back there. I mean, one of the most classic movies I enjoy. It's in some aspects lighthearted, but very serious. I don't know if Jim, if you're familiar with the movie called Battleground. It is a movie with Van Johnson in it from 1950s or so. And it's about the 101st in Battle of Bulge, right? Great movie. And then, you've got your classic, A Bridge Too Far.
Right.
Yeah. And then you can get into more modern stuff. You've got Band of Brothers and what's that tank? Fury or whatever it is.
Fury.
Or if you want to go Vietnam route, if you want to go totally off scale, you go Apocalypse Now, right? The most iconic helicopter battle ever. I mean, outside of that, it's pretty awesome. And, there are much better Vietnam movies, truly, than Apocalypse Now.
Charlie don't surf.
True. Or my favorite.
I would agree that Apocalypse Now is a great movie,
Yeah.
and it has some great scenes in it. I struggle with the idea that it's a Vietnam movie.
Yeah.
Because it really isn't.
Well, that's because it's
And
Heart of Darkness.
Yeah. Everyone knows this angle.
Yeah. So, it has some classic lines in it, and things like that. Anyway, all right, let's do our quick catch up. Jim, what you got for us, sir?
Video production.
Yeah.
Video production and more video production. We have recently put out our 2-part sort of mini game for Mogadishu. My old friend Alex and I got together and played that game. We put it out there on the web for everyone to take a look at. So hopefully our views seem to suggest that some people are enjoying that. Mogadishu is always a bit of a popular topic for our Valor and Victory system. And we've been working on some more movie reviews. Our Battle of Britain movie review was well received back in October.
Yep.
So we figured, why not give that another try? And yeah, we're working on some more content for the game. Will be played tomorrow. If I don't go crazy trying to build it first, the game will be played tomorrow, and yeah, I'm hoping to have some video of that out during the upcoming week to week and a half. So hopefully, we enjoy that as well.
Did you share what the game is yet, and why Bill's over here fangirling?
It doesn't matter to me. I mean, we play it tomorrow and it comes out, so it's not going to be a huge surprise. If you want to go ahead and say it, Bill, go ahead.
We are going to take our home rules of sit rep skirmish, and we're transporting it to the era of the big drug kings of Miami in the 80s and playing
Columbia 1988. That's right. So we're going to be playing Columbia 19. No, I'm just kidding.
Stealing it. We are going to be playing Miami Vice. Woo!
There we go.
So now you know why Bill sounds like a schoolgirl.
Woo! Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I'm very looking forward to that tomorrow. I can't wait to see what Jim comes up with. Poor Jim.
In all seriousness, we've been kind of going through it, going, oh, should we even poke the bear that is Ukraine? No pun intended.
Right.
Should we? I mean, we've been doing Afghanistan, Somalia. Once in a while, you have to.
You just gotta go off the rails and just
have
do something fun. Yeah.
Well, and
God forbid, have some fun.
And we've been threatening to do Miami Vice for like a year and a half.
Oh, I love Miami Vice. I saw Miami Vice.
I'm surprised Bill's not in Florida for this.
If I could, I would. But please.
We'd be doing it at a 1-to-1 scale.
Yeah.
We all wind up in jail. Marty and Chris would be like, we're doing the show alone today because Jim and Bill are still awaiting bail down in Dade County.
Yeah,
we don't know exactly what happened, but
yeah, check out our new GoFundMe for Bill and Jim.
So honestly, it would be one of those things where we play the game, face to face in front of the OCB building downtown. That would be cool.
Yeah.
we'd pick up the sites, right? Anyway, all right. So yeah, guys, look forward to our version of Miami Vice using the sit rep skirmish rules. That'll be very exciting.
You don't have the Miami Vice
no,
theme
I didn't.
loaded
I'm
on
a
your
loser.
soundboard?
I do have it on my phone though. But that we would get dinged for that, unfortunately.
Well,
I would get a copyright strike for that one for sure. So
Jan Hammer, come on.
If I did it myself. But anyways, no, as of right now. Very cool. I'm very, very much so looking forward to it. Before we move on, want to say hello to everybody out there on Live Land. We are live on our channels. You can join the conversation with us. Just hit your chat buttons and bring up some info. Let us know you're out there. We'd love to hear from you. All right. Jim, anything else, sir?
That wasn't enough. No, I'm just playing. Yeah, it's been, in all seriousness, the new job, I have now officially run out the honeymoon period on the, he's the new guy. Let's all welcome him aboard. Are you still getting all your HR and training stuff together? No, now it's time to actually, produce something.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a lot of I'm not kidding you. This is no exaggeration, 18-hour days and 12-day work weeks.
Yeah.
So
that's right.
It's been slowed down a little bit. Yeah, we are. There is some light at the end of the tunnel, so I hope to emerge and rejoin the land of the living in the next 2 to 4 weeks. So
sounds good.
Yep, it'll be good.
Try not to get hit by that oncoming train.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yes.
I'm getting better at dodging, but no worries.
All right, moving on. Mr. Wimmer, how are you, sir?
I'm fine.
You sound fine.
He said, you sound like crap.
Right? So what you got going on,
No.
sir?
You don't sound
nothing
excited or
what?
motivated.
Is anybody surprised? Anybody?
No. Nope.
No,
So
you haven't
I think
lasered
it's
anything?
No.
No lasers?
No, because that's
He's
2 gallons of gas away.
yeah, it's geographic. He's geographically separated from it now.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
not as
along
easy
with
as
my
So what I'm hearing is that I somehow got to convince my lovely wife to build us another building so we can make a workshop.
yeah,
Like what a workshop, we should have our own.
yes, absolutely. Done. Let's do that.
But that would mean I'd have to give up my dream of selling everything and buying a sailboat and sailing the Caribbean.
No, it doesn't. It just means that
No.
instead of selling everything, now you have a place to put it.
Uh-huh.
Huh?
Anyhow.
Huh?
you have to have a base of operations.
I mean, just saying.
Anyway. All right. Well, we
I mean,
understand.
you're not going to take all your heirlooms and everything
I'm gonna
out
sell
on
it
the
all.
boat.
Sell it all.
You're not going to sell your heirlooms.
I don't have any
First off-
heirlooms.
You got baby pictures.
Oh, that's all that can be digitalized.
Your kids are good looking. Dad
Right.
could jump the generation.
Right?
At least.
Anyway, moving on. Mr. Martin.
Yeah. So let's see. All right. You remember our good friend Chris Long?
Yes.
I bought when he fired up his
Yes.
shop.
Yeah.
Him and Alex fired up the shop. I was order number 1. I was the test order. I was very excited, which by the way went well. And turns out shipping from Canada, not terrible, or at least it wasn't that.
It wasn't that until $10 a gallon for gas or whatever.
Yeah. So
Canadian.
I've been holding off on doing the shopping cart of doom. Because I didn't have a good silver. I wanted the cart to be bright.
So you wanted a chrome-ish.
Yes.
Yeah. Did you find one?
I did.
What did you use?
And I painted it the Vallejo super duper silver.
I'm going to tell you right now, as many of you have seen, I own a lot of different brands of paints. I own a lot of paint.
Yeah. It's not the regular silver. It's
No. The ultra.
Yes.
Chromium, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
I still stand by Vallejo paints. I really do. I like the Army Painter. If you guys are Army Painter fans, or if Army Painter is watching this at some point, listen to it. You have great paints. Don't get me wrong. But for the type of miniatures and models that I do, Vallejo is more in my wheelhouse.
Yeah. Well, and that's the 2 brands primarily that I use is Vallejo and Army Painter.
Yeah.
But like I said, I was looking for a very specific, super bright, shiny, chromish silver, and I finally got it.
Yeah.
So I painted up my shopping cart of doom and based him, and my other LMG gunner. That is, he's got his.
Is that a Dushka that's on the shopping cart? What is on the?
Yeah.
It is a douche.
Yeah.
Jim, one
Yeah,
of your
the
Soviet
one-
lovely. You know what, Jim? You know who you remind me? You know who your brother could be?
My brother.
Yes.
Who's my brother?
Ben?
Well, no. Your YouTube brother, Brandon Herrera. You both love
Oh.
Soviet shit.
Oh yeah, there you go.
So, you don't know who Brandon Herrera is. He's the AK-47
No.
guy.
I was gonna say it's not an insult. Brandon's good dude. I love watching his
Yeah.
videos.
He's called his
review.
His handle on YouTube is AK-47 guy. So he loves
Okay.
all Soviet weapons.
He's also a designer.
Yeah.
And designs and manufactures
Gunsmith.
his own gun.
Yeah, he's trying to make a 50 cal AK-74.
He's making the AK-50. he's on
thought
version 2.
someone had already
working on
done
3. No,
Okay.
not an actual AK actioned
Right.
one. So yeah, that's his project.
Yeah. So
Which is always fun watching him, go through those videos and figuring out what works, what doesn't work. He hasn't blown one up yet, so
no, yeah.
good
I'm
on
sure
him.
he's going to blow himself up trying that, but yeah.
Well,
Good
then he
luck.
got Kentucky ballistic, so he already blew himself up with that video.
Well, yeah,
But that was because of bad rounds.
and he is taking revenge on them by blowing up every 50 he
Which-
can get
which-
his hands on
Which
them.
makes me cry because he blew up a Barrett. Why?
Yeah, well,
Do you know how expensive a freaking Barrett is?
I'm betting he didn't pay retail.
Probably not. Anyway.
It's like two tanks of gas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Chris made it funny. All right.
So so I painted up those dudes, based them. Super excited about that. And then when I went to pull them out, I'm like, oh crap, I still got a whole bunch of civilians.
Yeah.
So I got them all primed up. I haven't started painting those dudes yet. I do need to get some more bases. Chris, if you happen to be by the laser 25mm circles, please. I found out I have like 4 left. I'm like, oh.
Do I need to clean out my third bay and we can just have Chris bring his laser here and set it up here so it's accessible easily?
Maybe.
I mean, we'll talk about off camera, but I mean, we do have the third bay garage, so we just have that homemade table that you
needs
fell
to
off
go
of
because it almost killed me. Yes. By the way, speaking of which, so earlier this week,
Yeah.
for comic relief,
You did it again?
no, my wife said something, and my daughter has that thing bookmarked on her phone and pulls it up to show my wife, saying, "Oh, I'll get a good laugh."
Well, you're good for something.
Yeah. So I got that going for me. And then I also I painted some other Harry Potter figures. So I've got those in the mix.
Yeah, I got to do that for Dawn. I keep telling her I will do that. Uh-oh.
It turns out we're really good at drinking coffee. We've decided that we need to keep a pot of coffee down here during the broadcast.
Buy merch.
And as it turns out, we're this far into the podcast, and there's 1 cup left in between the 2 of us.
Yeah. Anyway. All right. Anything else, Martin?
I had ordered the Black Powder Red Earth rulebook that
Yeah, I
arrived
see you got it there.
yesterday. I have not gone through it. I had the PDF version.
Yeah.
I didn't care for it. It was just kind of hard for me to read.
I'm not a
follow.
big fan of PDFs. I mean, obviously, it's very convenient. They have all your PDFs on a tablet or an iPad or whatever. But I'm sorry, I'm a purist. I want to hold the book in my hand.
Me too. I'm a physical book
Yeah.
person.
And if that makes me old, I got 2 words for you: F and U. So
yeah, I'm with you on that one. Now that doesn't mean that I don't want to. Like some games are supported by apps or whatnot.
Yeah. There's a
I'm
difference.
Totally not opposed to that, but I like having the physical thing, the book there. And yeah, I'm the nerd that will, get my little sticky note out and tab where things are that I frequently, it's particularly if there's not like a quick reference, or if the quick reference is only in the book, it's not a separate sheet. There'll be a tab on that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome.
It's called Control F, right? You can look it up.
Oh,
That's all right.
yeah, of
Keep
course,
going.
the
Drive
computer
on.
guy
Drive
is
on.
gonna, the computer guys are. Now, I'm waiting for Chris. Chris is probably over there seizing right now. Between Jim and Chris, the computer guys telling the old-fashioned guys, if you just hit Control F, you can find whatever, yada yada.
Yeah.
The problem is you're gonna find.
To me, it's just.
You're gonna find.
Go ahead, Jim.
You're gonna find like 50 results for what you're looking for. Like, how do I shoot? Oh wait, never mind. Or it's a multi. Yeah, I get it. I'm kind of the both. I kind of have one foot on both sides of that fence as far as.
Yeah, I mean, if
'cause
it's
that's another old debate. Physical books or PDF.
when it comes
I
to,
like physical books.
I do too. I love the feel of a book,
It's
right?
tactile.
Yeah. I like the smell of a good book too. I mean, I know it sounds weird, but there's something about a fresh book or even a classic book, after a while. So
that
as long as it's not moldy.
Well, and like when they use good paper and it's a nice, nice glossy photo maybe or what.
I can tell you,
it's got a quality that can't be replicated.
Like
digitally.
Bolt Action, when you have all the army books, it's convenient to have it on a tablet or something because, otherwise if you're going to some game, you could be carrying, it's just like 40K, with all their codexes and crap. So it just depends. But yeah, I'm a traditionalist when it comes to that. So
yeah, paper doesn't break. You don't have to recharge it.
That's true. All right, for me,
you painted your dude.
I painted my dude. I painted him in the black powder red earth. I don't know if you can see that
kind of style. Yeah.
Style. Here I get in the light. But anyways, it came out all right. I'll tell you what.
I think you need to bump up the red.
I do. And that's the contrast paint. It wasn't a very bright red to begin with, but then, you washed it and it comes down. I mean, it looks good now. It dried and everything, but I don't know. The contrast paints, depending on what you're using it for. I mean, it looks all right. It's tabletop. It's fine.
Well, yeah. I mean, you can certainly push it across the table and have it do what it's supposed to do as a little game piece.
Yeah. So, but eventually, I will find the right mini to do a really, really, really good paint job on. So I painted that up for the video on this past Wednesday, and then Heaven hit yesterday.
Wait, what?
Heaven came to my house yesterday.
I've not heard of this yet. This is new information.
Now, as I've said, that this is a all format wargaming channel. The Apache arrived yesterday. Oh my freaking God, is it amazing? So what I'm talking about is DCS World, which is a military flight simulator.
I was gonna say, so I'll scratch this off my news.
Did you have it? I'm sorry.
No, it was just a blurb to throw to you anyway. Yeah. But I saw that.
So of course I got in on early access and I downloaded it and I was flying it last night. And holy crap, is it freaking amazing! I got through cold start. I got through TDS, and I got through some navigation, putting in FARPs and all that stuff. My next training session is the 30 mic. Oh, yes. So, but the reticle is freaking amazing. You got to do it in VR. I tried doing it in standard resolution and it's just not the same. But when you're in VR, you literally feel like you're in that cockpit.
Nice.
And holy crap. I cannot wait to unload on some Soviet armor.
No crashes this time, right?
No, I crashed a couple times.
Okay. I remember we used to run those DCS streams on our Twitch channel. I'd be like, oh my God. It was like the drinking game. How long before Bill crashes again? Okay, take another shot. Why is everyone so wasted? There's a lot of crashing going on.
I'll tell you what, this model or module in DCS World really, I truly feel hits the helicopter flight controls the best. Because I do have the Huey, and I think there's another one. That's some Soviet stuff I won't even touch. But this one truly, truly takes into account airspeed, collective, cyclic. You got to use your rudder pedals when you've got so much power and torque. It really hits home on the realism part of it, which is freaking amazing. So it's awesome. So look for a video coming soon.
I bet.
Anyway.
Just got to figure out how to fly.
I flew pretty well last night. I did.
Yeah.
So
I'm just picturing walking around the house with a telescope. No, that telescope, a cheap little telescope taped to your head with panties holding it on.
I don't have the problem with the monocle. I had no problem whatsoever with it.
He's no Nick Cage, I'll say that.
So, but I could truly see an eye dominance issue, but it didn't throw me for a loop with the monocle, because when you're in VR and you close your left eye, you see the monocle. When you close your right eye, you do see no monocle. I mean, it's really there. So I didn't see it overpowering one eye versus the other. So I didn't have that problem like they had in the movie, like Nick Cage had in the movie. But I haven't gone into combat yet. You know, I've been just doing the simple training missions. So
right. Well, and the other thing is, as people who shoot, and if you shoot with your eyes open, you've already addressed your eye dominance and one eye doing something and the other eye not doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So it's not a foreign concept to you. So it's easy to translate over.
All right, Marty.
Yeah.
Okay, man. I'm Mooney.
You ready?
I wish I could. Oh yeah, hit it.
Listen up, people. It is time for the news with Marty. What in the wide of world wargaming is going on? Let's in on the scuttlebutt. Bring on the awesomeness that is wargaming.
Yes, let's get scuttlebutted. Wait, what? That didn't come out right, did it?
No, you're not in the Navy.
I was gonna say, is that a Navy thing for crossing the?
Hey, speaking of which, did anybody send Jim the meme that Chris Long sent about the Marines?
Oh, I don't think so, but feel free. Isn't the scuttlebutt a drinking fountain on a Navy ship?
No, scuttlebutt is rumors.
No, I think don't they call the bubbler scuttlebutt as well?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not. Jim?
Yes, it's both.
Ha! See?
All right.
Look at me. I'm
Yeah, when you got questions, ask the Navy guy.
turns
He's
out
Marines, not Navy.
it turns out I'm
Same department.
I'm trained.
Yeah, but the Navy's just the taxi service. They're the Uber.
I'm trained service, so I understand these things. All right. so
Anyway, and moving on.
all right, moving on. First, maybe we all have a moment of silence.
Oh, yeah.
Foreground models. It's going under.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to say their parent company's name.
Time Again.
Time Again?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought it was, but I'm like, if that's like Team Again or something like that, I don't.
No, Time Again.
So Time Again, the parent company of Foreground, has announced that they're closing Foreground due to increasing costs. Foreground Publishing is going to have a closing down sale ending on the 30th of June, 2022. So again, for all of you who are interested, big sale at Foreground through the end of June. And at that time again, they'll complete whatever orders have been received, but they'll stop accepting orders for Foreground products.
Yeah.
They say it's been an incredible journey. Can't thank everyone enough for all the years of support and enthusiasm from the amazing community of terrain lovers.
Yeah.
Kind of heartbreaking. They have really good stuff. I mean, it's
very good.
It's pricey. Don't get me wrong,
but you're paying quality.
I was gonna say it's a premium price for a premium product.
Most definitely.
It truly is a premium product.
And you got to remember, they are the first people who did pre-colored MDF.
Yeah. And did it really
and multi-layered
really well.
Pieces, where it brought depth and dimension to pieces. I don't know if you guys are aware, but I'm actually friends with Big Ben and Kat, the owners of Foreground.
Yep.
And I had reached out to Big Ben to express my sadness and heartbreak, and he sent me a really nice message back, but essentially saying that because of the way events are going in the world, it was not sustainable for them to be shipping out product to resellers because of shipping costs and politics. We won't get into the whole Brexit BS and all that other stuff, but it just wasn't a sustainable model anymore. However, he does say Factor M, which is their retail division. They have their own game store.
Right.
They are going to have a little bit. He says tiny fraction of products. So you'll still be able to get some things.
But only retail or?
Only retail at the Factor M store.
Yeah.
But they're going back to what I don't know if you guys know, but Foreground started out as a architectural model company. They built stuff for, when architects do a layout of this is what this complex is going to look like or whatever. That's how they got it. And museums. They built stuff for museums.
Right.
But they're going, and so he told me that Time Again Wooden Toys is back in full flow, which means, when you go to certain castles, you can get really cool wooden swords and weapons and stuff. So that's one of their biggest markets, believe it or not. So they're going to be making that stuff. So, and then of course he ends it with my best line ever. When you're in the UK, remember to come see us. We can have another night of Zulus. Yeah. So we wish Big Ben and Cat and the entire Foreground Time Again team the best of luck. And I know I'll see Big Ben and Cat soon. So as soon as the world stops being stupid and crazy, we can travel back overseas.
Yep. Sad news for many folks.
Yeah.
Again, it's a premium product they do.
Hello, Rasmus.
Some
Welcome to
really
the show.
Nice stuff.
Yeah.
So if that's something that interests you, if you've always thought, man, I wish I could get one of those, but it's just not quite what I can afford, go check it out.
Yeah.
Everything's on sale on their online store. So hit it up and foreground.com.
Yeah.
And check out what they got, because you got a couple of months and then no mas.
Yep.
All right. My next little news bit. And this might only be news to me.
What's that?
To be honest. But I came across it looking at something else. So, so I backed Firelock's new Blood and Plunder. Their
Is this the World War I or the pirate one?
So I backed the pirate one.
Yeah.
But then I was looking at the World War I one because it was there. And I didn't realize it. So the World War I game is Blood and Valor.
Yeah.
They now have a 2-player starter bundle available. I don't know if they've always had the 2-player one.
Honestly, I haven't been following it. But I did catch a bit of the video that on Tabletop Beast of War did the other day about it. So yeah, I saw it. It looks pretty impressive.
So they say it's everything you need to get started playing Great Skirmishes, and it includes the book. You get 30 hard plastic multi-part 28mm German miniatures. You get 35 high detail hard plastic multi-part 28mm French miniatures. 70 MDF 25mm bases, and then 6. It says 6 deluxe 10-sided dice. Now, when they say deluxe, Firelock likes to put their game logo on instead of the 6 kind of thing. So that's what that means.
So it's French and Germans. Is that what I heard you say?
That's what the starter is.
So this is a 1-turn game.
Damn. Damn. I mean,
this is what happens when people don't read books.
I like to give the French shit, but I mean, come on now.
Sorry, my French friends. Sorry. You
can't. Battle for Done lasted 8 months, killed 750,000 Germans.
This is why we have Jim on the show, because when I say something stupid and put my head up my ass, Jim comes back and says, look, get your head out of your 4th point of contact and let's continue and drive on.
Don't believe that. Jim pounds his ass farther into his head and then just talks about what the truth should be.
So,
I'm just playing around.
So Rasmus,
in all seriousness, I did try that game at Historicon 2019. I don't know about the starter set, but that World War I the Firelock game, all games have great things, all games have not so great things.
Yeah.
That game has one of the best initiative systems I've ever seen. And I've been playing war games, I've been designing war games since 1980-4. That popped my eyebrows a little bit. So if nothing else, I mean, does the starter set have this little I don't have the ad in front of me. Marty, does it have like these little discs, almost like these little wheels, almost like clock things that you turn to like blind bid your initiative? Say anything in there about that?
It doesn't say anything, but hold on a second. Let me.
I mean, it's part of the game, so I'm assuming it comes.
So while you're looking that up, just going to catch up with some chats.
Let me.
I'm going to actually start popping chats in here. I forgot I can do this. Rasmus says they also have a Victorian game in the works.
Yeah.
What's that about?
Blood and Steel, I believe it's called.
Is it colonization, or is it like, mystery in the Victorian times? And then our friend Damon threw it right back in my face with Bill dissing the French. What are you, British?
No. You have to take this in context of who's talking to you. That was the biggest compliment Damon could give you.
I appreciate that.
Damon is with you. He is shoulder to shoulder with you on that one. you ever want to make Damon's day? Just slam the French. Damon's like, hell yeah!
I will have to say, I have had the opportunity to meet and work with in the past some French Foreign Legion guys. They're badass.
Yeah, well,
they are badass.
Well,
I mean, granted,
they're
a
not
lot of
French.
them are
Yeah.
no.
Damn.
Yes,
I
the
mean, it's
French
right there
Foreign
in the
Legion-
name.
The French Foreign Legion does take other ones, but there are a lot of French guys in the French Foreign Legion, right? You know, those are the guys. I mean,
Somebody has to be in charge of all the foreigners. Yeah, let them be in charge of themselves. They'll take over the place.
and we just lost all our
Right?
French audience.
Yeah.
No, but in all seriousness, isn't that part of joining the French Foreign Legion is that they offer you French citizenship
Yep.
regardless of your
Yep.
past. You become French.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
do your initial contract and you are given French citizenship. So, yeah. So awesome.
So
And you need someone to translate it as well, too.
to answer your question, Jim, it does not say anything
Okay.
beyond what. And I'm looking at the pictures here on their webpage, and it doesn't. It looks like book, dice, and the 2 army sets. The 2 starter
It's
army
going to be
sets.
part of the armor set then,
Wait a minute.
because you kind of need them to play the game.
Hold the presses. Rasmus says, because this just caught my eye, Zulus among others. Zulus among others what? Is this part of that Victorian thing? You get to play Zulus?
Oh, hold on. I'll let you know in a second.
Another avenue for Zulu wars?
Yeah, right. Come on.
Right.
Come on, go to. But since I happen to be on the Firelock webpage,
Yeah.
let's just scroll on over here and where is Oh, do they not have it up on here yet? I know I've seen it.
So to fill the silence,
go ahead.
if I remember it correctly, because I only got to really play it once, and that was 2.5 years ago now. And it was a couple turns on camera. The way that initiative system works is, okay, your army's quality or your officer's quality gives you a certain number of initiative points. And for most armies in World War I, it's kind of equal. And then what you'll do is you'll say, okay, we're going to do, I can't remember the exact turn sequence, but let's say, okay, we're going to do like command phase.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Who's going to go first on command phase? And you blind bid a certain number of your initiative points. I think there's also a D6 roll on top of that. I could be wrong about that. So, you know what? Let me not say that. But basically, you invest a certain amount of your allocation of initiative points in like almost like a blind bid system, and then you both show like what you bid for initiative in that phase. And then it's like, okay, you won that one, so you go first, or if you want me to go first, however it works. And then you go on to the next phase, like a fire phase, and then a movement phase, and then like some sort of after action phase. I realize I'm talking like it's Valor and Victory here, which it's not, but the same general scale of games as far as command level.
Yeah.
But what I like is that it allows you as the commander to invest your initiative or your emphasis in different phases of the game. Like if you're on defense, you're going to want to put a lot of emphasis on the fire phase. If you're on offense, you might want to, like if you're charging across no man's land, you're going to want to put a lot of emphasis on the movement phase. And it allows you as a commander to tactically tailor your initiative to emphasize, where you're really putting your foot in the back of your men one way or the other, in movement or in fire or in suppressive fire or in assault or, the different phases of the game. And because it's a partial blind bid-esque system, I hope I'm not misrepresenting here, but that's kind of what it felt like to me. I just thought it was really innovative initiative system in particular. There have been so many war games out for so many years. I mean, Avalon Hill started putting out decent war games, I think, in 1954. It's been literally 70 years now. It's tough to find stuff that's new under the sun, that like basically somebody else hasn't just done with a different name or whatever. And then they pretend it's new. But that, at least to me, struck me as actually pretty innovative.
Nice.
As far as an initiative system goes.
All right. Mar, did you find it?
Yeah, so I didn't. I found the on tabletop Beast of War Guys review of it. So it is a historical war game set during the period of 1837 to 1901.
So it is the British colonial times.
And explores Victorian age combat, delves into conflicts like Anglo-Zulu Wars.
What?
First thing mentioned.
Yeah.
American Civil War, Mexican-American War, Spanish-American War.
so it's going to do all.
Second Seminole War, and the Maori Wars.
Okay.
So, yeah, they're covering.
So it's not just British Victorian; it's the Victorian era. So that's awesome.
Yeah, they're covering a lot of ground there.
Awesome. What else you got for us news-wise, sir?
All right, let's flip back to this. So, just a couple of other things that I came across while I was looking for news items. So, not necessarily a news item, but a product that I thought I would share. There's a company called DesignForBattle.com.
Okay.
UK company. It's a British veteran that owns it, and he makes. He's got his own little company that he just started there, and is making 28mm figures. So if you go to designforbattle.com, you can see his first. It's a small range. You can see his first offerings.
Mm-hmm.
They're 28mm heroic scale. They're kind of chunky looking resin miniatures.
So heroic scale.
Yeah. But they are as modern as you get. I mean, they have 2 days equipment on them.
Yeah.
So it's really nice. It's definitely the most up-to-date uniforms in kit. So they've got some riflemen. They've got some dudes shooting javelins in a couple different positions, and he's continuing to expand the lines.
Nice.
And they're like 4 pounds a piece. So whatever that translates into, and
good.
Our money. I have no idea because I can't do math.
But $6, $5.50, something like that.
Yeah. There's options for different heads or helmets on the guys as well. So I just thought it was kind of cool, and I'm like,
very cool.
Oh, little dude, we'll give him a shout out, to both our listeners.
Yeah, very cool. Both our listeners. We got at least 4. All right.
And then I have one other item.
Okay.
This one's a Kickstarter from Miska Miniatures. And it's a line that he had originally created for military show.
Okay. And
folks were like, hey, this is cool. We'd like to do it. So this is all kind of, he calls it Saharan militias. So think Mina type figures, if you will. But they're 28mm models. They're all STLs in this case. Supported and unsupported versions, and the Kickstarter ends in 2 days. So if that's something that I think 2 days. If that's something you're interested in, go to Kickstarter, look up Miska Miniatures. But €30, so that's like what, $35, $40?
35 euros.
30 euros.
30 euros. Yeah, it's about $40.
Yeah, something like that. That gets you STLs of everything, including their unlocked stretch goals there are. 32 euro, you can get physical minis of their core set sent to you. 40 euros gets you core set printed in 28mm. And there's a couple other different options. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. If you're interested, go to Kickstarter, look up Miska Miniatures Saharan Militia.
Nice.
But they've got 13 militiamen. They got 6 dudes with an AK, 2 PKMs, 2 RPKs, 2 RPG, 1 with an SVD, 3 different versions of Land Cruiser pickup truck, 1 with the disc, 1 with the PKM, and the other one with the 63 MLRS. The little one. It's pretty badass. Look, so
if you're looking for some technicals,
there's also 4 motorcycles. 2 are just civilians. One's a militiaman with a passenger, and one is what they call their informant. They've got a couple of just straight up civilians. They've got a DIY do it yourself rocket launcher guy with a little crew. And then 5 government forces that have 10 different head options. There's 4 AKs and 1 PKM. So if you are a printer, you can get the whole thing for like $35 here.
Nice.
So that, take a look at them, see if it interests you. If you don't have a printer or don't have access to one, you can get physical copies of the miniatures.
Are they selling a licensed version so people can resell?
They are.
So,
and it's
like Chris Long could,
and it's like $100.
That's not bad.
Yeah,
I mean, just a couple of orders and you can have that returned back.
Yeah, it's very reasonable.
Yeah.
So Chris, take a look at that. See if
Yeah.
that's something that interests you. It may. I don't know if that you would say that competes or complements with what you already have. It's your business. You figure it out.
Right.
But go to Kickstarter projects, Miska Miniatures, Sahara Militia, and you can check it out.
Very cool.
And that, sir, is all the news that I've brought.
So I have
today.
one more Kickstarter that I am actually backing because I have the first set. There's a game called Onus, ONUS.
I saw
it
it.
is literally miniatures wargaming without miniatures. It takes basically the size of a 3x5 card, and it has all the miniatures printed on it, and you move them on a table like you would a base of miniatures, right?
Yeah,
And
like it's a movement tray.
so surprise, guess what we're playing afterwards? But they're now doing the Trajanus, the Romans, the later Romans, is what the Kickstarter, and it's really a good game. It really is. So if you are, into that kind of thing and you want something that's easily traveled that still allows you to play a historical miniature-ish game, check out Onus. Good company. I mean, it's a nice product. So you might see a video on that sometime.
I was gonna say I did in my travels. I ran across the advertisement for that. And looked at it a little bit. I also ran across what's it called? Use Me, and I can't remember what exactly that stands for. But they're like really. It kind of made me think of like a one-page rules kind of thing.
Yeah,
Except they're little tiny pocket-sized books.
Yeah.
But for £3 you get a rule set, and I might buy it just because I'm super curious.
Yeah.
And they have, I don't know, 24 different books. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff. So you can get modern, you can get zombies, you can get ancients, you can get sci-fi, outer space, you name it, they probably cover it.
Yep. All right, Marty. I believe we assigned you homework. Yes?
Yeah.
So you have to go all the way.
Never get out of the boat. Absolutely goddamn right. Unless you were going all the way.
There you go.
It's a tiger, man. It's a tiger. A what? It's a tiger.
So going all the way, sir, what is your recommendation or your pick for a game?
So it's a game that I had. Now, you guys know that I like the lighter stuff. I'm not super crunchy.
Yep.
But I like the lighter stuff, and I like skirmish level games.
Yep.
So the game that I want to talk about is a game I actually got not last Christmas, but the Christmas before.
Okay.
Called Delta 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's something that I would.
Hey, hold on a minute.
Hold on. We have breaking news. Our friend Piotr.
Hello, my friend. It's good to see you.
Yes.
Very much so. We can't go into details, but it does our heart good to see his name pop up.
Hope you enjoyed your vacation. Glad to see you made it home safe.
Yeah. All right, continue.
So it's a quick and easy box game.
Yeah.
It's not board game though. It's still you still have to measure out your movement and whatnot. Yeah. But it requires very little terrain, and the terrain that is really kind of required, especially for the first 5 training missions that come in the book.
Yeah.
It is provided. They're just it's just cardboard shipping containers. Because it's kind of set in a like an industrial area.
Yeah.
Shipyard, rail yard kind of scenario.
Yeah. So the premise of these game recommendations was I tasked the team with pick a game that is fun and easy to get into.
Yep.
And so Marty's
and that's why I chose that one. Now it uses a kind of a movement or not a movement, a command phase. And it's got a little octagon. There's different sets of orders that you can put on there. You can have them move, you can have them fire, you can put a dude in Overwatch, that type of thing. But you indicate what that is before your turn. You put that down, and then it's alternating activations.
Yeah.
Now you decide which order, because you could potentially have your guys broken to 2 separate fire teams.
Yeah.
So you could have 2 sets of orders. You can decide which one you want to activate when, but you've already made the decision on what their order is. So it's kind kind of realistic in the fact that, you know, if Americans actually followed the orders they were given, and I say that because if anyone's been around the American military, you know that we'll change things in a heartbeat.
Right.
We call that a MET TC consideration. Oh yeah, that plane's not going to work, so I'm not going to do it, or I don't feel like it.
Right.
But you know, if you've already you know, put down the order that your guy is going to do a double move, that's it. That's all they can do. They're not going to get another action.
Yeah.
You know, so like you're running for an objective or for cover, whatever. Even though the other guy activated and he's like, oh, this is not going to work. Well, sorry, bro. that's what you get to do. Make the best of it. You know, run a different direction. I don't know what to tell you.
Exactly.
But it's.
Has anyone seen the tail end of the latest issue video? He was kind of doing this. He was my friend Alex was assaulting a building. And he went to the movement phase. He got adjacent. I already kind of whiffed my opportunity fire. This is why he launched the assault. It was basically a free assault. Then we added up the odds. It turned out I was barely squeaking by me as a Somali player as a 1-to-1. And I had a better leader than he did. And I had more available grenades than he did. And it was like, okay, you have to roll an 8 or less on 2d6 for a successful, 6 or less, because the grenades. Okay, you have to roll 4 or less on 2d6. Do you want to stop this? Do you want to call up this assault? And he's like, actually, I kind of do. The video hard cuts to the Crusading Knight from the Last Crusade. You have chosen wisely. Because even if he had pulled off that assault, it still would have cost him the game.
Yeah.
So, guys,
Yep.
Our games that we play do reflect the kind of stuff you're talking about.
Yeah.
Soldiers that have been given orders, they kick the door and they run through. They say, yeah, this was a bad idea. And they have the tactical flexibility and freedom to, make it audible, if I can even try to use a football analogy, to sort of, change the action based on what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it doesn't require a lot of space. It's not a 6x4 board. I mean, literally, I solo play on my coffee table. And I don't have a big coffee table.
Oh, Novus Templar has joined the program.
What? And, it's nice to have like a game map, but it's not required. Because sometimes I put it down. Sometimes I don't feel like going to get it.
Right.
So the cardboard, like I said, the cardboard containers come in the box, as well as there's PDF downloads. So if you want to make more, print them out, put them on, you can print out on regular paper and glue it to something else. If you got the fancy card stock, you want to do that, you can print it right out on that stuff.
Yep.
But it's, it's a very small, simple set of rules. It's easy to get your head around. It's fast play. Games are, I don't know, half hour, 40 minutes, maybe.
There you go.
So, I'm a fan of it. The Bonza Games makes it. They're out of New Zealand, but it's distributed in the U.S. I'm drawing a blank on who it is. Davis Games?
Oh, I don't know.
But there's a U.S. distributor,
Okay.
as well as there's a European one. So
Gotcha.
you don't have to get it shipped from New Zealand because that would cost you $4,000 today and probably take a year.
Right.
So there are it is available more regionally, if you will.
Okay.
So
your recommendation for a good game to get people in is
Delta 1-0. It's a good. I think it's a good gateway game.
Yeah.
I should.
Did you bring it with you?
I
mean, you should have shown the box at least.
I would have, but it's over at Chris's house because we were playing it.
We got to get that on camera. Seriously, we really do.
Yeah. Well, so Chris and I were actually going to rope his nephew into doing it, and we got the first game and a half
Drew?
in. No. Christine's son.
Okay. Gotcha. All right.
But then availability just fell apart.
Yeah.
So we did a couple just so he would be able to learn the mechanics.
Gotcha.
And then our goal was we were just going to go through the book through all the training missions because there's 5 of them in there, and each one adds an additional rule, so you get more options as you go along. So the first one's really basic. It's like, this is how you move and this is how you shoot. And that's really it.
Gotcha.
And then it goes a little deeper.
Which sometimes I think is good. I really do. So
Yeah, for a train,
Yeah.
again, they call them training missions, and then there's a whole bunch of downloadable content as far as more advanced missions and
Good.
whatnot as well. So,
all right, so Delta 10, that's Marty's recommendation.
and it comes with your starter miniatures in it, as well
Nice.
as you can buy more.
You can always buy more.
Well, specifically,
Yeah.
they produce more.
Yeah.
So
Very cool.
You can go to their webpage and get them if you want a different team or to flesh out yours or make it bigger, whatever.
Perfect. All right. We've already been into the program for an hour. Let's get to our topic, shall we?
Well, we sort of hit it right at the beginning,
Yeah,
and then we had to peel back because of all the stuff that we think that we should do before we get to the topic. So yeah.
All right. So our topic for this show is what is fun in historical/modern wargaming. I'm going to start off since I thought of the idea, and what I find draws me and makes it historical fun, quote unquote.
Oh dear Lord, easy killer.
Oh no, I lost our camera. There we go. Earthquake. Sorry guys. The bunker got hit.
Yep. Right.
So anyway, what makes it fun for me is being in the boots, if you will, of the leadership, and can I do better? Right?
Yeah.
Not saying that they did poorly, but can I do better? How good of a general, colonel, captain, sergeant, whatever am I? And what is my outcome? I have total control of the battle, within parameters, obviously. So, and I've just been drawn to historical stuff as a kid. I mean, my dad played Avalon Hill games, hence my Avalon Hill collection.
Yeah.
So,
Extensive.
Oh,
Avalon
I
Hill.
can't believe Novus Templar. Let's throw that up there, buddy, because that's worthy of. I can't believe the coffee pot is empty. Where's the sit rep support staff? Right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it turns out leaving the pot here is just a great enabler. The more it's here, the more we drink.
So, truth be told,
Should've
if I
seen it
asked
coming.
Dawn to make coffee, I don't know if she knows how to be honest with you. So,
One, that's a failure on your part to, train. But
yeah. Anyway, so
You just need a bigger coffee pot.
right, I'm gonna have to get one of those party coffee pots. All right,
yeah,
the 32 cup ones.
I got one. I know you're shocked to hear that I've got a 40 cup coffee pot.
So,
I've got one too.
I did actually mean
I
to
can't
bring the
believe-
coffee maker down here and keep some water down here with the coffee ground so we could just continuously make coffee. Just ran out of time. But anyway, getting back to our topic, because here we go again, getting off the trail. That's why, historical for me, and then modern because we live it, right? Or lived it, live it, however you want to put it. So we associate with it. So there's a connection point there. And we've talked about that in the past. But there's some really cool toys in modern.
Yeah.
Now you got drones and shit.
Yeah.
And you got Apaches.
Yeah.
And you got really cool weapons.
Yeah. You got some awesome vehicles.
However, I do honestly,
And
I still love
buildings.
World War II war games. I mean,
they're
I
very
do.
iconic. It's an iconic period to war game.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So one of the things that I particularly like, about historical, think back to when we did 13 Days to 13 Hours.
Yeah.
So we're wargaming a historical situation, but we changed one thing in the start conditions.
Yeah.
Instead of waiting to deploy, we decided that we were going to deploy the second that the call for help went out.
Right.
How does that change
30
history?
minutes or 20 minutes, whatever the exact time was. Right, Jim?
And it did.
Yeah.
And our outcome was it did change history.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty cool to be able to do something.
Yeah.
Along those
I do
lines.
like the what ifs. I think that's where we really come into our own is we do the what ifs. Instead of, you've got Little Wars TV and they played the game as the battle, right? They do. However, I do say they did. Jim, what was that? Do you watch Little Wars TV at all? Do you follow them?
No, I do not.
Okay.
Nope. I watch SitRip podcast. It's a channel you guys should check out. It's pretty good. They have some pretty good.
So Little Wars TV did a battle. and I'm going to butcher this, Jim, and I apologize. Is it Brandywine? It was a Revolutionary War battle.
Yes.
Where there were some you could, as the audience, make a decision where this general went.
Yeah. I was gonna say they crowdsourced the commands,
right?
Essentially,
and so they did theoretically say what ifs. If you did make this decision, would it affect the outcome, etc. And they made the wrong decision, and the British won, right?
Yeah,
but they won the battle.
But it was a kind of a unique concept. I mean, because literally they crowdsourced. Okay, your choice is to do A or B,
right? And they filmed a video with both responses. Yeah. So I mean, it was pretty.
Wait a second. They won. You're talking about Brandywine, America's first 9/11. They won the Battle of Brandywine.
Well, I don't remember if it was Brandywine particularly. That's just what comes to my mind. Okay. So it was a Revolutionary War battle.
Yeah. It was Brandywine.
Was it Brandywine?
Yeah.
Okay. So the audience picked whether this general should respond is in traditional. What he did in historical, or should he do the alternative? And I think they did the alternative. Yeah.
Well, so there were a whole bunch of decision points along the way. So, basically the crew said, okay, he can do, in this particular, where we are in this phase of the game, he can do A or B, and it started off with what the traditional one was, and that remained an option until it no longer was, because you were no longer in the traditional part, because there were some alternative options that were selected by the viewers.
Right.
And then, once that happened, just gotta keep following that path. So it was a neat concept, I think.
Yeah.
For entertainment purposes.
So, Mr. Wimmer, you've been awfully quiet. I know you're playing computers.
Yeah.
Why did you get into historical / modern wargaming? Is it just
Well,
because
for me,
I asked you to?
Well, partly. My answer before you threw that in there was it's what my friends play.
Okay.
So, yeah, go with the flow.
All right.
I don't know what the comment is, but Bill was reading it intently and now he's giggling.
So Piotr said, historical and modern wargaming. It's fun because it's not real. Plus, if we're not getting a tractor and 15 millimeter for Team Yankee, the game is dead to me.
He's got a point. I mean, there are dudes that are already modeling that.
Yep. So, yeah. Jim, the floor is yours, sir.
Yep. I feel like I've repeated this answer a couple times before, so I'll make it quick. How did I get into
Long story short? What?
Yeah, there you go. Long story short. All right. Over to Marty.
Here we go.
No, just kidding. In all seriousness, honestly, and this is gonna maybe rub some people the wrong way, but I don't even friggin' care anymore. Sci-fi and fantasy gaming just doesn't. I don't care. It doesn't mean anything. It's not real. And if it's not real, well, that's the whole point. It's supposed to be gaming. Yeah, well, I have other things to do with my time. If it's not going to be real, if it's not going to have some kind of gravity to it, if it's not going to have some correlation to the real world, there's no research in it. The time that other gamers will pour into, let me get the eyeballs right on this 28 millimeter miniature because who cares? Yes, you're very talented. Meanwhile, driving on. I mean, I'll sit there and I'll say, okay, why did this battle take place? What was the point, and what could have happened differently? In a little bit more of a realistic sense. I mean, we're talking about Brandywine. Nothing against, Little Wars or anything, but we're talking about Brandywine, and we're given, it sounds like General Washington a chance to pivot to the flank or not. It's the big decision that he whiffed in that battle. I mean, anyone who's read the battle knows this. You can't give the players that choice because it literally upends the entire battle. Basically the river it divides. I wanted to get into that tangent because it's not even worth it. But yeah, these kind of details, these kinds of nuances, and I feel like you can't really understand a battle. Okay, you're not going to understand the world. This is going to be a bit lofty, and again, if I sound pretentious, forgive. I apologize in advance. You're not going to understand the world until you understand history. The reality of the human race is one big friggin' equation with everything that's happened up till now equals, and then the value that on the other side of that equal sign is today. Okay, we're here only because of everything that's happened before. You're not going to understand the left-hand side of that equation until you understand warfare. All right, nothing against technology or science or religion or philosophy or any of these other bullshit fields of endeavor. Okay, we are where we are because of warfare. All right, I'm sorry to say it, but that's the human race. Yeah. We're here because of warfare. You're not going to understand warfare until you understand these battles. And you're not going to understand these battles until you try them. And when I say try them, I mean try them for, I don't want to say for real, but until you try them to a certain level of, I don't want to say a thought experiment, but a certain level of, like we were talking about the what ifs, like Marty's example about the about 13 days. Okay, you can just randomly say, well, I'm going to give Washington the chance to pivot to the left because I have a crystal ball and I have 240 years of hindsight. I already know that Howe has outflanked me around the Brandywine Creek. He didn't know that. He had no way of knowing that. He had no way of knowing that because he put out his pickets, and his pickets were out what was considered a reasonable distance at the time, and the British marched around that. Because British soldiers, one thing they can do is they can march. They have marching power like nobody else in those days. So there's no way that Washington knows that attack is coming in. And so, I don't know. I didn't see the video, so I probably shouldn't be, critiquing it or anything. But it's one of those battles where when people mention it, oh, you watched that 30-minute YouTube video too. Oh, yeah, I know exactly where you're going with it. Here's all the reasons you're already wrong. Not wrong, but incomplete, because the fact that you think this is a choice sort of indicates that there isn't enough research involved in this.
Yeah.
It's a little more complicated than, well, he should have done this, he should have done that. And that's where you get into the thought experiment. Okay, could those operators have left not the CIA annex, left their location and tried to get to the ambassador's compound in time, like right when the shit hit the fan, rather than waiting for, I guess it was the CIA case officer. I can't remember who actually was there. Yeah. Could they have done that? Would that have made a difference? Well, I mean, Gaz and I spent the better part of a year on that project. We read the Senate report as redacted as it was. We went into the weeds on it, and we tried to come up with an answer in the design of the original sit-rep skirmish, the design and the play testing. We play tested that game for 3 months before we even put it on camera in front of anybody. So, I mean, that's what I like to get out of it. All right. Mm-hmm. Things like that are okay. You either design a rule system or you find a rule system that you trust because you played the game before and you like it or whatever. Basically, you find a rules engine that you like or that you trust. You set up a battle. And when I say set up a battle, I'm not talking about painting miniatures or building terrain. I'm talking about, okay, first of all, read 20 books. Okay, when you read those 20 books, congratulations, you finished stage 1. Now read 15 more. All right, forget everything that you've read because they're all wrong and they all have their own point of view. Basically, you sort of plot those 20 or 30 viewpoints on a board. You throw the dart into the middle of that board, and that's your best guess. Yeah. You're still only at a best guess. But, because these books have their own points of view and their own axis to grind and their own biases and perspectives and so on and so forth, they're trying to make their own point. You're trying to get to the closest you can get to the picture, the three-dimensional data cube of what actually happened. Knowing that you'll never quite be, of course, 100% perfect, but you get as close as you can, and most importantly, as objective as you can. Oh, Jim's a communist. Jim loves Soviet stuff. I like to know the ways of my enemy. I like to know. You have to understand both sides of a battle before you can understand the battle. If you only read about one side of the battle, you don't understand shit. So you have to make sure that you understand what it is from both sides to get the biggest, most complete, objective picture you can. And then you run that game, making all the exact same decisions that the commander did. You're not playing the game. You're running a recreation. It's boring as hell. It's not creative at all, but it's a vital step. And if the game will, running it through, making all the exact same decisions that Lee, that Napoleon, that Patton, that Rommel, that Zhukov, that Washington, that Howe, that all those commanders made over and over and over again. And if you run that 2 or 3, maybe 4 or 5 times, and, weird dice, pretty close to a historical result. In other words, you put that data and you put those decisions into that engine, and you get a result that is actually pretty close to what you wanted. Now you have a pretty decent simulation engine. Now you start to play with it. Okay, what if the Marines had landed on the blue invasion beaches in addition to the red invasion beaches at Tarawa? What happens if the Americans hadn't sunk all their tanks off of Omaha? What happens if the Germans had gone into Russia on schedule, 15 May instead of 2 June or whatever? Or what if Jackson had still been alive at Gettysburg? And now you have enough data where you can actually start to come up with, and that's where you get into the what if stuff that I think you guys were talking about.
Yeah.
There's actually they were talking about why do you find it fun? I think we lost our 15 books ago. No wait.
No, Chris, we didn't. In fact, I know you're trying to be funny, but no, we didn't. That is what is the point. Everything else is a waste of time, at least to me. So that was my answer to the question. I probably took too long on it, but yeah, everything else is just childish. It's a waste of my friggin' time, to be honest.
And you know what? Everybody does this hobby for different reasons. You do it because you enjoy the.
Well, the question was posed to me, and I'm putting in my answer. So that's the end of my answer, and I'll be quiet now.
All right. So,
all
right. So let's move on to the last phase.
Wait, there's more?
Yeah.
Oh, dear Lord. Okay.
What is your favorite historical game?
I don't know, because I'm kind of a rookie. Not gonna lie, I've only been doing this for a few years.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'm really qualified to say that, okay, so that's not true. Because even if I only had one game, I could claim that was my favorite.
Right.
So what's been my favorite thus far?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Contact Front.
Yeah. Okay.
I like the rule set. That's pretty. It's not super crunchy, but it's still realistic. So there.
Yeah.
You got a little bit of bookkeeping to do, but it's not horrible.
Yeah.
And you can kind of scale that one up or down.
Yeah.
We'll go with that one, I think.
So Piotr says, "Oh no, say bolt action, Marty. Say bolt action."
Well, yeah.
You know what though? Bolt action's fun. It's if you understand what it is, it's a World War II themed game.
Right.
It's not heavy, crunchy, war, historically accurate type game. I've said it before. An M1 can shoot a lot further than they allow the range in the game rules. But anyways,
Bolt action can be useful in a war game if it's properly applied.
Yeah.
It's a tool in your toolbox.
Right.
It's not my favorite tool. It's not my favorite game.
But if you enjoy
yeah, exactly. Like you say, if you understand what it is, you know what it is. And again, if properly applied, I've seen people do great historical games. They chose the bolt action system, and if you apply it to the right scenario, it can actually do really well.
Yeah.
As well as that's a game system that has a lot of the goodies available. You can get a lot of the various vehicles, and
I'm looking at several boxes right now.
And terrain and whatnot. So I think that makes it a little more
easily accessible
and immersive.
Yeah. I mean, accessibility is another important thing to a successful game. Whether it's 100% historically accurate or not. Is bolt action is right up there with 40K and something. You can pretty much find it just about any game shop, right? So
Warlord nailed it with that one.
Yeah. So all right, Chris, do you have a favorite historical game? And it can be any format. It doesn't have to be a board game. It can be any format.
No, I've been pondering since you asked the question. Free gaming. No, not really.
Well, I just haven't had enough exposure yet, huh?
That and I'm going to probably piss off a lot of people here on the team. We talk a lot about games. We don't play a lot of games against each other. You know.
Jim might argue with that because he plays.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I'm not even touching that one.
But, okay, but what I'm saying is, you know, Bill, you were just saying Bolt Action. You know, it's a great game system.
Yeah.
I never played. You know, some of these other ones I haven't played. So, you know, there's been a lot of times I lived out of state for a while, you know, deployments and stuff like that. I don't have the experience.
Gotcha.
With some of these, and yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Let's see. Novus Templar says, Bolt Action wowed me with the dice in the bag turn decider. Yeah, I mean, it's a good mechanic. I do like that. Jim, would you like to go next, or would you like me to go next, sir? Because I think my answer is going to surprise a lot of people.
Jim.
Sorry, I was on mute, guys. Yeah, go ahead, because
Okay.
I'm.
All right.
I actually may have to take off here, but yeah, you guys go ahead.
Oh, okay.
All right. So, my favorite historical game, I just do it because of memories, and it's just fun to play, and it's not heavy, believe it or not, is the classic Avalon Hill game, Circus Maximus. The chariot racing game. The reason being is I can get non-historical people to play that game. My wife, who doesn't hate historical, just has zero interest in historicals, loves Circus Maximus. And we've played it not only in the traditional hex encounter, but also in miniature format. So it is a great game. And I just found the Vassal edition, so we can actually have races with our friends over the internet and do it on Vassal, so people can participate. But yeah, believe it or not, Circus Maximus is my choice for just a historically based game because of the entry point, how easy it is to play, but it does have a lot of strategy to it. I mean, believe it or not, you know, you're picking speeds and size of your chariot, horses, you know, there's a lot to it beyond just the cover of it. So it is one of my favorite historical games.
I was gonna say, that kind of doesn't surprise me, and I say that because you had mentioned that game many times.
Yeah.
You know, so you know, it's obviously something that appeals to you.
Yeah.
So I'm not completely surprised by that.
Yeah, I mean, it is a fun game when you get people playing into it and they're really invested in it, and you're racing. It is a great time. So we really need to get out the 28 millimeter map and play it with 28 millimeter figures. It is a lot of fun. We did that at Drexler Games years ago. So the guy that owned the store.
Well, see, that surprises me because as many times as I've heard you say Rorke's Drift is your favorite game.
No, Rorke's Drift is always going to be my favorite battle. It's my favorite.
Yeah, well,
battle.
you just kept saying this is my favorite game.
Well, and you know, because we're
you
playing
play with your dad.
Yeah, but when it comes down to just historically based game, Circus Maximus.
No,
so
all I'm saying is that surprised me based upon how many times you said.
Gotcha.
Rorke's Drift.
Yeah. So
because of the history with your dad.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. So yeah, that's it for me. So
very good. Very good.
Anything to add, Jim?
No, people already know what my favorite games are.
Okay.
There's not a whole lot I can really add to that.
All right. So, guys, any final thoughts before we close out the show? We want to thank everybody who joined us live on the show today. And it's good to see you all and your participation in the comments. Make sure you check out the Miami Vice game.
That's all right.
Coming up in the future. It'll be awesome.
Good to hear from you, Piotr.
Yeah. All right, guys. If that is all we have, then we're going to close out the show. So for the rest of the Sit Rep podcast team, Rasmus says RuneQuest Vikings, Valor and Victory, and a few in between. I agree. Nice. So, all right, guys, we're going to take it from here. We want to thank everybody for joining the show, and we will see you soon.
You have been listening to the Sit Rep podcast. We hope you have enjoyed the show. Make sure you like and subscribe to all of our channels on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Discord. Remember to join us every other weekend for a new episode of the podcast, and don't forget our other programming on Wednesdays and Sundays. Thanks for listening.